discern what nature is showing us with the individual body of this human species body, individual species body of individual bodies. Every individual, every just like every leader is shown how individuals at locations, areas, and states, their styles of pretending to be about integrity are capable of being about science with the subjects proper and with passions and emotions, pretending not to realize in positions, for example, relative to how hundreds of countries at once are shared on and off campuses, thinking and having thought together and having had sequence with such things like crimes, where and how they have had collusion slash S with things like differences. So crimes at all locations slash S with the human fact, human nature, breaching method, also has a scientific value being and having been replaced, and where there are roles replacing it as from the communications of our founders and from nature's communications itself. In other words, they're pretending not to realize, and they're pretending free speech is about that. They're changing and faking our words when we know predicate acts, and they are self-valuing roles changed and faked to digital evidences, interagencies, and the branches of government self-valued roles with it, and with a whole bunch of different countries and a hyper foreign at the same time. That was hyper sophistication here before our founders were born. What they call sophistication is increasingly every year overt criminal enterprises, privates, and terrorists at the same time need to hide the same lies. Increasingly, our side's roles, timing where people are going to walk and then making a statement, knowing that wherever they have long-term perspectives, they're already criminally foreign influence. You can't see through who is or not. You can't tell by who goes over to a country. There are proofs that the people that went after uh, Obama also are roles with that inter campuses at every country, location areas, and states. Keeping two roles of the sciences and the religions, read tactical ulterior than science tells to read them themselves. How the Old Testament says right in the beginning, only defend this part right here with the names of the people. The sciences will come together in the part before it. I've heard all kinds of passion and emotions regarding the Bible slash Bibles, different versions of it, but no one ever even mentions that one part. And the people who attack the religions, they have collusions with the people defending the religions, and with people with exceptions, with their syntax, who are also involved with the World Trade Center attack, as we could discern it having been motivated through rules with other natures of predicate acts methods and of use slash S, role self value, right where no one self values it to at the same time, of each campus, inter campuses and intra campuses, and the difference of them with other types at the same time. Other database relationships private, and there are database identities of relativity to ourselves, but that the breaching method had used from some ancient times, since before computers, since before modern religious messengers were born. Already the sciences and the database relationships of relativity unabridged had been taken away. And so more and more they cannot afford to discern short words by the sciences proper, as they would be, and they would have been vaccines. So discern how many times the podium to speak to everyone at once. Lawrence O'Donnell wastes, and worse than wastes, going after the president for being a dictator, or he was wearing a crown. In other words, there are whole predicate acts with facts methods, roles, collusion slash S, with way worse than things they put little kids and adults in prisons for, and drug them, force that on them, including at hospitals, including with all kinds of legal scams and fabricating transcripts, having done such, having needed to hide that by roles self-added with all natures of investigators, collusion slash S with all readings of statutes and precedents, the breaching method inside the communications of America's founders and James Madison, and their roles behind James Madison and his plan, their communications and declassified about that breaching method. It is still haven't been replaced, and there are self-added roles where that body is sensed. You guys are missing how and why really their motives are to pretend they want to have just the social interactions between the kids. The differences of the guilt there off the campuses or next to it. These are also people at, roles with a method that keeps all sides of criminal and civil cases and the court's names and their lawyers at the same time, planting the same sequence shifts, motivations, narratives, natures used to screen foreign names, including a whole bunch of different countries involved with the Trantola and Trantola, who would rather have me leak that and his roles with that, spreading lies about me to people, all along Route 3 and with the news media, with WFSB, attached me to fake conversations with WFSB. This Trantola and Trantola changed the very short conversation I had with him and pretended I made a government conspiracy theory as his roles with forcing proven child abusers, leaders of kids, roles that were with use slash S of that layered. So there are other countries and other criminal foreign influences involved with the Trantola and other lawyers on all sides of criminal and civil cases with all kinds of scams with the names at the courts. Increasingly, a whole bunch of people in the Britain Superior Court are recorded, confessed, demonstrated, confirmed, involved with kids and adults, and the difference of that from other areas planted evidence on my street since I was a kid. And then those are the ones who were planting at Central Connecticut State University too. They're putting fake things in databases. Lucinda Kolvinskis will tell you. I reported that's her last name. She will tell you, I never had a class with her. The only time I ever saw her, she's recorded, confessed, demonstrated, confirmed involved with people from Central Connecticut State University, involved with the north side of Central Connecticut State University, and other parts of it, with the intelligence community, foreign and domestic, some KKK, black theme, Latino theme, per her husband. And her roles with people that stuck fake things in the database to get me at my grammar school. Fake ties to me, that was a fake exception. I don't know her. Lucinda Kolvinskis. Justin Kolvinskis, I never had a class with him. Only time I ever saw him on my campus was that time real fast with Lucinda Kolvinskis. She has something to do with the Leahy family and people involved with the kids of the leaders of the kids and hurting them to put the roles, but also making it self-value. And the roles, the difference of that or the other kids hurt by it. A whole bunch of people tied to but they also attach everyone to fake and changed communications. Increasingly, they attached a former principal, Murphy, who I only have love for. They attach him and his daughter to fake ties, fake natures of ties to me, with some prosecutors and judges involved with it, with medical offenders of kids, a Leahy family, and people at Quinnipiac University involved with a Fred Gruzet, Rick Cianfaglione, and people next to campuses involved with criminal enterprises and private ones with middle school kids and grammar school kids involved with body dumping spots and planting evidences with into databases of police, criminally foreign influence, with people in my area involved with them. A Fred Gruzet with New York City, all kinds of medical corruption and delusions with their takes on American history too. So they need blood clots speaking. So they need the differences between the best campuses and the worst campuses. Also, collusion with uses of the differences, pretending not to realize or sensing that body, including if there's a majority of people including it as if it is everybody. So we're going to pay attention, black pupils. Get them on paper, one name in sequence. Who disbelieves? Who disbelieves? Get me off the fake conversations with WFSB, Connecticut Channel 3 News. After that was at the same time collusion/S with sources of WTNH and with Fox Connecticut News increasingly involved with all kinds of natures of organized crimes at and next to the corrections offices and the judicial branch offices of Wethersfield, Connecticut, and the founding locations. As people all along the road from there, all the way through through Wethersfield, through Newington, and to Central Connecticut State University in the Britain, Connecticut, all sides of it, since before everyone was born. It was used. Roles with predicate acts with facts, methods, needs, natures, and styles. Natures as criminal insidiousness / hypercriminal insidiousness. Forgiveness is because a breaching method measured and maintains other things, others ourselves, communicated than what nature communicates for ourselves, and what our founders communicated for us. And the nature of debate contains roles, needs, nature, sensing for the breaching method, if anyone notes such, and they change our words. We're going to pay attention to where and how. In other words, they change our words if we try to focus on the significance of the revelations that come with having the same color eyes and different color eyes at the same time. And all that's tied to what nature shows us and how nature communicates and how it's replaced black pupils. Pace, prepare. We must force them onto fact treatment nature quality here. This is where we fight, where we have the quality of fact treatment nature online. Parents, kids, they are changing and they're making demonstrations as confessions while pretending other, and just changing and faking what's communicated online. Increasingly, they make their timing where people are going to walk to put a little illusions. This is increasingly because of how their volume is used, where they're pretending they had integrity, where they pretend that people need trust in them. Offensively, the FBI and the Wethersfield police have collusions with state police forms, intercities, interstates, overt criminal enterprises, terrorists at the same time. Counters to it as collusion/S. This breaching method keeps people incapable of speaking about war properly, revolution properly, or peace properly. Otherwise, they are sensed. Nature itself shows us there's a difference between criminal insidiousness, natures of peace, let alone a whole bunch of different distinct natures of peace, criminal insidiousness, and a breaching method using the difference of that /S. We have been systems tactical terror. So individuals could see that leaders are lying, but leaders can see that people are lying because the species body is showing us we're a systems tactical terror in the hyper native one. Presidents are supposed to speak for Native Americans and for unabridged rights, and how the breaching method tactically denatured the ground below their feet in the waters and the identity relationship to it, the same way it did against us, sickly distinctly. Presidents, even when they have the right way to speak about it, they are sensed through our own too. Collusion/S with the foreign too, because it's against them too. It keeps other things, others ourselves blamed, the things it caused, including what countries blamed. Then it kept styles of that. Those prisons have roles with more natures of organized crimes in our countries, A through Z. The differences of their guilt or their nature, that's also used remotely criminally for them. That's out of their mind when they speak about jobs. They owe more money than we need. Just with the fake mental health care integrity part of hospitals since founding. Hartford Hospital has an Institute of Living recorded since founded on the campus of Hartford Hospital in 1822, while slavery was still firmly entrenched in the northern colonies, southern colonies. People still measured and maintained, communicating other than what our founders communicated about that. And still. And they're sensing for it. Oh, you know more than the experts. Let's pay attention to how they replace what our founders communicated to us, to understand about the agreement and the nature of the agreement between George Washington and our founders behind him, James Madison and his plan. And then as James Madison as our founders, with George Washington as a founder, distinctly from a president, but then also a president too. Ugh. And Madison's our fourth president, but he didn't have freedom of speech yet too. That's recorded a bunch of ways. The nature of the debate regarding that is criminally foreign influence, tactically delusions raw, and has been. That's recorded too. The breaching method showed that the voices on that, they have to hide such. The names of the people of sciences are being and have been used remotely. The names of the people of religions, the names of the counters, roles with exceptions, and saying all the sides of issues. Yeah.